Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. I'm the Gamer's Digester and a lot of you guys have been asking, I've seen it in my comment section as well as other YouTubers, just what are the best settings for the Asus ROG Ally? Now there's a couple good answers to this, not everything is the best and it's all kind of up to you and what you're willing to sacrifice and put up with. So one of the first things that I'd like to show you guys is if you go to the settings here and you go to the operating mode, of course you have your Windows, silent, and performance. One of the lower end ones that I'd suggest use if you don't want to do any monkeying, right, is the performance. As soon as you go down to silent, you're going to start losing a ton of performance and only marginal battery gain. So if you're looking to gain performance and you're plugged in, you can go here to manual, slide those all the way up, and you can create a custom fan curve. I've had comments in the past. I'll let that sit there so you guys can look at that. I feel like that's a pretty good compromise on loudness, but I did a Cyberpunk video recently and someone commented to go do my fan curve, to go check it out. So I looked into that and kind of realized really quickly that this thing can start to sound like a jet engine in a matter of seconds. So yes, the device stays cool and the screen is cool to the touch, but it kind of defeats the whole purpose of having two fans. The two fan advantage turns into a disadvantage over the Steam Deck really quickly. So it's all preference. If you've got some AirPods or some headphones that you think you could just plug in really quickly, then absolutely I would say go for that. You're going to get a little bit better performance because you're keeping the CPU cooler. But it is a give and take there. It's not just a solid win across the board. But that is one of the first things you can do. Now, another thing that you can do, and this one might sound a little silly, is just make sure you don't have anything open in the background. If you're listening to Spotify, that might not affect it all that much, but when we're limited to the size and the specs of this device and we can't really change much, if your computer, if you've got a bunch of tabs open and stuff, you can just go buy some more RAM. You know, it's not that big of a deal. With this, we're working with what we've got. The graphics card is using some of that 16 gigabytes of RAM, so you really only have 11, and that can max out really quickly. So just be careful that when you're playing games, you don't have a ton of tabs open at the bottom, different applications running at the same time. And one of the easiest ways to check that is if you push this, I believe that says M1 right there. You can push that down and push right on the D-pad and it will kind of pull up all your different things. While you're in a game, it will do that as well. And there's all sorts of commands that you can tie to this. If you just didn't know already, that'll pull up your task manager. You can kind of see what's taking what. But yeah, that's one other thing that you guys can do. Now, something that I did that was fairly easy is there's a website called Bloaty. It's kind of gone by a bunch of different names there, but I believe this is it here. You can go here. It's all honestly not that confusing. It looks pretty confusing. I'm not going to completely go over everything how to download it today. There are tons of tutorials already on how to do that, and they explain it much better than me. But essentially, right, it's a program that will get rid of a lot of stuff running in the background. So you'd open it up here, and it's got all these different things. Use my stick here. And you can see it'll select a bunch of things that you don't necessarily need to go on in the background. And then you can press down here, fix, apply fix. Do you want to apply? Yes. And I've already done it before, so there you go. But yeah, that's another thing that you guys can do to get some more performance. One more thing, if we go back into the Armory crate here. Now, I'd love to hear your guys' opinions on this. I'm not entirely sure myself. I feel like, I haven't done extensive testing, but I feel like this has given me a lot better performance as far as smoothness. Let's go back here to operating mode. If you go to GPU settings here, you have the option to choose between the different size that you want to have kind of dedicated to the graphics there. And I have that set to the highest. Of course, this is kind of like the Steam Deck where you had 4, you could do either 2 or 4, and they said do 4. But if you had it set to auto, it would kind of just choose which one was best for the situation. For me, I'm just going to have it set for 8 for now until I see otherwise. And honestly, I haven't ran into any issues, and I suggest you guys do the same. Now, as a quick benchmark here, I'm going to pull up Cyberpunk and show you guys how that's running. I've honestly absolutely been loving Cyberpunk. Quick little tangent. I don't know if you guys have played the game recently. I know everybody and their mom purchased it or whatever, maybe had a bad time when it came out, and I am no different, honestly. It took a second. I mean, we're, how many years into the 2.5 years into the launch of Cyberpunk, and finally, this game is so fun, you guys. I have absolutely had a blast. I just beat the whole game. Now I'm going to go back through again and do all the side quests, but it just runs really well. Now, this is the first game, I'm going to try and keep that light out of your guys' eyes. This is the first game that dropping the resolution has not been a big deal to me. I kind of talked about that a bit in some previous videos where I said that when I didn't really enjoy doing that because I felt like it was kind of you're sacrificing a lot on what this device is by dropping it to 720. When you have AMD FSR 2.1 turned on to just auto quality, you really cannot tell, and it is fantastic. I feel like whatever kind of magic is going on there, it's great. One other tip, I know I keep saying one more, but don't ever lock the frame rate. I know that might sound silly if you're trying to conserve battery. It will be the choppiest and that's not even a word. It will be tearing and it will be choppy. It is not a pleasant experience to lock the frame rate. The way that the FreeSync is kind of set up on this, it's not set up to work really well with that. But let's go here. This is my favorite car. I have seriously almost played through. I'll turn this on. It's my monitor. And you'll see the temperature looks really high. The back is fairly cold. I don't want to deafen you guys by changing it just yet, but I will change the settings here. So that's about how loud it is right now. Let's go ahead here. You hear the jet taking off there? And you can see it'll start going down to probably about 80, but I can definitely feel that is doing some work there. But this is 1080p, almost everything set to low. I know it's nighttime. Let's skip time here. I'll hop out of the car, actually. The only issue I found with this game is sometimes there is some ghosting. I'm not entirely sure if everyone is facing that. It's only when I'm driving, but see, I don't know if that's bugged out right now because that is fairly cool air. The back is nice and cool. Okay, it's dropping down 92. When I did some testing earlier, it would kind of float around like 79, 86. Maybe it's kind of just the area that I'm in, but let me tell you guys, 45 FPS never looked so good before. I go a little bit more into the city. I don't want to start any quests or anything because I have no idea what it's going to show. And this game has been like really kind of crazy sometimes. I don't know if I don't really love to go through and try and edit every little thing out. I like things to stay raw so you guys get the full experience of what I'm experiencing. So I don't really like to go through and edit. So that temperature really isn't dropping. Let's go ahead and change that back. And let's see if that just climbs super high. In my first video that I did with Cyberpunk, I drove around for probably about 10-15 minutes and it hovered around 90 degrees. I'm telling you guys right now, it's not hot. I don't know if Armory Crate is bugged there or something's wrong with the sensors. That's mildly warm right there. Not hot. And the back's a little warm. You guys will have to let me know. Have you ever ran into that before? Do you guys think that it's bugged out, or what's the dealio with that? I don't actually know. I don't feel like that is as hot as it's saying it is, but that could just be me. I'm not entirely sure. But yeah, no. Honestly, this game's been going on sale a ton. Of course, I don't even have to say it. I'm not sponsored by these guys. I'm super excited with the show Edge Runners just coming out and the new expansion which I pre-ordered. I'm super excited. This has been such a fun world to explore. CD Projekt Red did a great job. They just needed a little. It just needed to cook for a little bit longer, unfortunately. But it's kind of like the Asus, and it's kind of like the Steam Deck and the Switch. You know, all these newer products that end up coming out, we have to let them just cook a little bit longer. And there's no way that we could really have gotten to know that stuff without actually getting the device into people's hands, you know? And that's just kind of the sad thing is if you end up pre-ordering a device, you have to be a playtester and a little beta tester, I guess, is what I meant to say there. But I hope all of you guys have been having a fantastic day. I know this was very pretty generic, but there's a lot of people who've been asking tons of questions on just little things here and there that they can do. And instead of leaving like 5 comments every now and then, I figured I'd just make a quick video to show you guys what I've done to my system. And I feel like it works really well. But you guys will have to let me know what you're doing, and we can kind of compare here. You can look at my video. I have no idea why it's saying it's that hot, you guys. It's really not. I mean, I've played this for probably 2 hour plus like sessions, and it can get a little warm, but I don't know why. See, it's even colder now that the fans have cooled off a bit, which is very interesting to me. Okay, I'll go ahead and end the video there. I could play this all day, but I appreciate every single one of you guys. Thanks for sticking around so long. Have a fantastic rest of your day. Bye.